Welcome back, everybody, to Dad's Gone Crypto. I'm here with my co-host, Ryan, and today we're covering one of the biggest news pieces in crypto. We're still smiling from last week. YouTube and Google, we don't like you very much because you shadow banned our video because apparently we can't use the T word or cover anything towards that. And then you just ban us. I'm like, my goodness. So right. I can't wait for the new administration to come sort that out so we can post freely and have freedom of speech, but we'll just wait. We'll wait for that in the meantime. We'll play by your rules for now.
For now.
For now. So, guys, the landscape as we know it, as of soon. Now, I'd like to say now, but it's not exactly officially in writing, but it's there. But this landscape of crypto will never be the same again, ever. And we'll tell you why.
Absolutely. I mean, for a number of reasons, but today we're talking about Gary Gensler, the SEC chair, who's been making waves, or maybe we'll call them tsunamis in the crypto world.
Yeah.
He's on his way out. The T word has already said that he is out on day one. So the crypto community is absolutely buzzing with excitement over that one. For many, it feels like the storm is finally breaking and there are blue skies ahead. I know. I definitely feel that way.
Exactly, Ryan. And I think Gary Gensler has earned himself a reputation. Not just among crypto enthusiasts, but among the Congress and the general public as public crypto enemy number one. And he's anything but crypto friendly, or it has been anything but crypto friendly. And he's been a thorn in our sides, and for good reason on his side, but for bad reason for growth and everything else in crypto, which we'll cover shortly. So why has he become so unpopular in such a short space of time? And why are so many people wanting to his head?
Great question. So Gensler took over the SEC back in 2021, and with his background as a former Goldman Sachs partner and an MIT professor who held courses about Bitcoin, people
loved it back then.
Exactly. We all thought that he'd be one to bring clear, reasonable regulations to the crypto space. But instead, he's been at the helm of what many, including me, would call regulation by enforcement. Where, instead of setting clear guidelines, he's been slapping laws left and right and, just wrecking havoc on the community. So let's dig into it here.
Right. You just gave me a good idea. Every time we want to use the T word, we should have these little flashcards.
Yeah, right. So they don't hear it.
That's it. So we're just like, everything we want to say, F you. And that way, YouTube won't ban us. So we'll find creative ways. Don't you worry. All right, guys. So why was Gary so unpopular? Well, the big picture and the big reason is that there was lack of clarity in the regulatory framework. So instead of working with Congress, instead of working with companies, the SEC had these guidelines. So Gensler relied, we're even mocking him now. Gensler has relied so much on existing old school practices. Now, we don't know if it's by design, all right? You can speculate it's been by design because think about it in this way. If something's uncertain and you're abiding by the law, but the law is outdated and it doesn't really fit into the new digital age or the digital, framework, you can manipulate the system, all right, in favor of your puppet masters, right? And we'll get on to understanding what a puppet master is later on. But he's basically trying to cram this new innovation of technology and a new way of thinking and a new way of working into like an old, outdated mold. He's trying to force it in there, all right? And we want to know why, what that was his agenda from the beginning.
Yeah, and like this one size fits all approach, it just doesn't work. Cryptocurrencies and blockchain tech are fundamentally different from traditional financial assets. They're decentralized, global, and innovative in ways that security laws from the 1930s just could never have anticipated. So Instead of adjusting to the new landscape, Gensler's been trying to force crypto projects to comply with those ancient laws that really just don't fit it at all.
Yeah. And then there's the regulation by enforcement. Gensler's SEC has brought legal action against high-profile players like Coinbase, Binance, Ripple, and dozens of others. Rather than telling companies how they're supposed to comply, how they're supposed to work, what framework, what box they're supposed to play nicely with the other children, all right, he's basically hitting them with lawsuits after they've been operating for years. So imagine you're invited to this playground and you're playing around nicely, and then you realize, oh, you're breaking all the rules, but you were never told what the rules are, and you as a taxpayer pay government to make rules so that we can all play nicely with each other, and of course to protect the consumer. But when the rules aren't there and they're very vague, all right, how are you supposed to operate? And this has been creating this incredible amount of suppression of innovation in America.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's another big one: perceived inconsistency and flip-flopping. The man is an absolute flip-flopper. So, for instance, back in the day, an SEC official hinted that Ethereum wasn't a security, right? I mean, makes sense. But under Gensler, the SEC has been hinting the opposite. And that just causes absolute tons of confusion. Ethereum is like the backbone of all decentralized finance. So when the SEC starts changing its stance back and forth, it affects a ton of people, and it just causes tons of commotion that really shouldn't be there.
FFG, flip-flopping Gensler. we should have created a meme.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys, and let's think about also selective enforcement. So Gary has been targeting certain companies, right? And unfairly, particular big names like Binance and Coinbase. And these are some of the companies that have been actually working with the SEC. They're like, hey, Mr. SEC, please, let's engage. Tell us what you want. We will abide by it, right? So they've been working with them, all right, only to be found out later on, after having those meetings, they're getting sued by the same people they're having meetings with to basically set out the rules and regulations. So it's just madness. It's absolutely madness.
Yeah, it's crazy. And even Congress isn't happy with him either.
Yeah.
Gensler's been grilled in congressional hearings. Lawmakers accusing him of overstepping his authority, lacking transparency, and essentially stifling American innovation. And hear to that, because he definitely has been. But, some members of Congress even questioned his judgment, calling out his inability to provide clarity for the industry that just so desperately deserves it.
Yeah. And the critics argued that, that his actions have been actually hurting the U.S. economy by driving innovation overseas. How many people have renounced their citizenship to go to overseas companies that are more crypto savvy? Because let's just say you've come up with this innovative technology, right? And everybody wants a piece of it. You have the chance to make life-changing money instead of making life-changing money in America, which I think is why people move to America, because you can start off with nearly nothing and become someone that owns nearly everything, right? That's the land of, what do they call it, Ryan?
The land of the free, the American dream.
The American dream, that's the one. The land of the free and the American dream. That's how it's sold to the rest of the world. But when Americans are wanting to leave the country because now it's just not friendly anymore and it's stifling, great tech, then you have to ask the question, what is government doing, or what are those government officials doing that's causing all this havoc? Also, one of the big things is that, generally, if you're happy, right? If you're happy with your wife, you stay in the house, you make little babies, you live happily ever after, right? If you're unhappy with your wife and vice versa, you start to fight, all right? Then you realize that maybe I need to be by myself and I need to find a home maybe in another country because it's that volatile. So same things applies with crypto. They're so frustrated with the framework, so they've been looking to expand their network outside other countries, growing that and potentially taking their business away from America and basically opening up internationally, which is stupid because then all the money flows to another country. I was like, it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it just makes absolutely no sense, which is why the man's out the door very, very soon. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, why don't we dive into, some big cases that really shook the crypto world under Gensler's watch. Mm-hmm. First up, the Coinbase Wells notice. Coinbase, one of the most crypto compliant companies in the entire industry, tried to work closely with the SEC. But instead of getting any guidance, they got hit with a Wells notice, which is basically, it's a warning saying that they're facing potential charges. And I mean, it's just an absolute head scratcher because Coinbase is trying to work with them, asking them for regulatory guidance. And then instead of giving them guidance, they throw them a warning. It's like, you're just completely out of your minds.
Yeah. No, then you start to realize that the puppet master is starting to pull in certain favors and starting to pull in certain things to manipulate, because it makes no sense. If I'm at your table, Ryan, and I'm asking you for guidance, all right, and you're sharing some vague responses, but I'm still there. I'm still wanting to learn, but you're not willing to tell me exactly. And then you sue me after I come to your table. No, I think that's absolute BS. And Coinbase turned around and said, well, we're not taking this anymore. We're filing a lawsuit against you. And that's still ongoing. So then there's the Ripple case. So everybody knows the Ripple or XRP lawsuit. The SEC went after Ripple, claiming that XRP was a security, even though it had traded freely for multiple years. And get the kicker, the former SEC director, William Hinman, had previously suggested that Ethereum wasn't a security, which kind of led to even more confusion, because hey, why is Ethereum not a security, but XRP is? This inconsistency, which has led to years of legal battles and has left the community, feeling that they're being targeted, because if the coin that you invested in, because you feel that in future the technology is going to mature, there's going to be growth and adoption, I'm there early, now all of a sudden they're getting sued left, right, and center, and it doesn't seem to be going away. What does it tell you about your investors? Well, I'm scared, let me go invest somewhere else. The investors run away, and then what happens? The potential collapse of that tech or project, which is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, and another huge one is Binance and CZ. The SEC accused Binance and its CEO Changpeng Zhao of operating without proper registration, market manipulation, and violating U.S. security laws. Now, this is absolutely huge because Binance is the largest crypto exchange globally. It was so bad that CZ had to step down and did some prison time. He's out now. It was short, thank goodness, but nonetheless, the entire empire he built from scratch was taken away from him because of a lack of clarity in regulations. They again were trying to work with the SEC, but no clarity, and they just slap him with a court case instead of actually putting out some guidelines there. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
I think that was probably one of the saddest, for me personally, one of the saddest times in crypto. CZ is one of the hardest working individuals in the crypto space, and he built the biggest and largest crypto exchange in the world, right? And I know for a fact that, because I've got friends that through the collaboration they approached in order to start off. This is before Binance was in South Africa. They find people. They say, listen, we want the lawmakers who can give us the right information, the right guidance to come into South Africa following the South African law. Right, so they go that route, and then they start to build the framework, and then they approach government and say, this is the framework we have, can we operate? And they'll come back and say, no, we want this in place, and this is what they've done for every country. And now because we won't get into details of the exact case, but because they've been slapped with multiple different lawsuits, he had to step down from his chair, from something that he built from scratch. And that's the hard part. He put his blood, sweat, and tears. And yes, he has a lot of Bitcoin. And yes, he's probably want to be one of the richest men in the world. But it feels like something's ripped away from his soul, because he hand built Binance by scratch. And then because of this American uncertainty of laws and practices and all of that, he had to do some jail time. Fortunately, it was only a few months. Some people have gone away for years.
And then there's Kick Interactive. Now, this one hit home for a lot of people. Kick was using the KIN token to support its messaging app, but the SEC came down on them, calling it an unregistered securities offering. Now, many saw this as the SEC stifling innovation, which of course they were, a company, just trying to survive by adapting to new tech, but getting completely punished for it. And they had major, major problems with that. A lot of people got sued for, no real good reason, in my opinion.
Yeah. And finally, let's not forget EtherDelta. The SEC charged EtherDelta's founder, Zachary Coburn, for operating an unregistered national securities exchange. EtherDelta was decentralized, and people saw this as a retrospective attempt to apply security laws to something that didn't fit traditional financial norms. It was like telling people they broke the law that didn't know even applied to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So why were these cases seen as unfair? Well, for one, inconsistent application of the rules. The SEC was acting retrospectively, as Sean just said, going after XRP after it had already been on the market for years. Imagine if, they suddenly decided that coffee was illegal after you've been drinking it for years. You're trying to take away my coffee now.
If we apply it to the drug trade or the pharmaceutical, just take this pill. Oh, sorry, excuse me, you died. And then they try to sue you for it. Okay, it was a bad example, but you know what I'm saying. You take this pill and you grow a third nipple, and the SEC said, well, they're suing you for taking the pill. But they should have been there putting the regulation in place to stop me from taking the pill. Third nipple, even though could be a good idea. But anyways, we digress. Let's move on. All right, another big reason why is obviously lack of clarity. As we mentioned, the SEC under Gary Gensler seemed to be, saying, well, let's just know, I'll let you know when you're wrong, when you've done something wrong, when we feel you've done something wrong. And that's absolutely no way to operate a business, especially in an uncertain, space, because investors can't come in and invest because they're scared that, the investment will go to shit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just ridiculous. And, plus there's this perception of selective enforcement, right? I mean, high profile players out there got targeted, making people feel like it was less about regulating the industry and more about making just giant headlines out there.
Yeah. And creating this fear of, well, the big guys can get it, so can we, but so can we, as in the people innovating. Which then, why should I? I'll just stick to my 9-to-5 job, and then why should I create new technologies to change the world?
Yeah, right.
And let's not forget the public impact. Investors obviously believe that, we've heard plenty of stories where investors get involved. They're like, yes, we believe in you. And then the minute there's a little bit of uncertainty, investors run away like it's no one's business because no one wants to lose their money. And this obviously, shatters projects. And I think the latest one was Meld. They heard, okay, so there wasn't an SEC regulation thing, but there was some FUD in the market, a bit of a dumping of their token, and literally where the investors were supposed to step up and invest, they ran away. They said, no, we're not. And then it caused the sell-off. And, well, that's the story anyways. And, now the project is gone to shit, and thousands of investors have lost their money because now they cannot continue their growth and innovation because you need funding for that. You can't create innovation, have the best minds, the best people, the best tech without paying for it or paying people for it. So it's sad, but it happens.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom, right? There's a massive bright side right here, right around the corner. And that bright side is that Gensler is out the door very, very, very soon.
Come on, you baby.
So the crypto world is feeling very optimistic right now. And the real hope is that his replacement won't be as aggressive with enforcement and, will actually provide a regulatory framework for the industry rather than just enforcing laws from the 30s.
Yeah.
Like Gensler's been doing this whole time.
I think we'll call him President T. Mm-hmm. He's very pro crypto and very pro innovation, and he wants to keep the tech in America. Now, listen, hold on a second, guys. Yes, I am South African, and it sounds like I'm shelling America like it's left, right, and center. But to be honest, the innovation has to happen in America because once America set the framework for their own shit, right, the world follows soon after. All right, if they don't, the world is left behind and America becomes too powerful and too great, and we can't have that. We have to have balance. So yes, obviously I want the frameworks, because if you're investing in America and you want technology to filter throughout the world, you want to make sure that it's done properly. So, Mr. T, or President T, is definitely putting the right people in place. And of course, he has now the Senate and the House, which then those two are also pro-crypto, which it doesn't mean it's a free-for-all. It's still the wild, wild west. We can do what we want. No. Now we'll just get the guidelines to say, here's the box, work within the box. You step out of the box, you're going to get slapped. And that's fine, because then everybody rushes, because they've realized that I'm happy to work in the box, and let's innovate and make the world great again.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few candidates being floated around right now, and thankfully they all are pro crypto as far as I can tell. Richard Farley is a good friend of RFK Jr., who we all know is a good friend of President T. And Richard Farley is a top lawyer on Wall Street. And right now, he's said to be a favorite for the position. And from what you can tell by going back and looking at some of his positions, it looks like he's pretty crypto friendly. And I'm willing to trust this administration that they're going to get it right. So I think that he could be a good candidate. And then, of course, there's the person that the crypto community has their eyes on, and that would be Hester Peirce. She's also known as the Crypto Mom. So she goes right along with us over here at Dad's Gone Crypto. She's currently an SEC commissioner, and she's known for being way more crypto friendly. She's criticized the SEC's current approach of regulating after the fact, and she's even proposed a safe harbor rule to allow projects time to develop without fear of any type of enforcement.
100%. And, with a rule like the safe harbor rule, companies can operate without constantly having to look over their shoulders. Plus, Peirce's background in economics gives her a solid foundation for understanding the political, economical benefits of crypto and blockchain.
Yeah, and with Peirce or Farley or someone like them, we'll probably see a shift from punitive actions to constructive guidance. And, it's like finally getting a teacher who wants you to learn and not just punish you for getting it wrong.
All right, guys, so let's have a little bit of a chuckle. Let's add my screen to the show. And let's have a look at some of the things that's been going on. Michael Saylor is saying that it's fantastic if Gary moves on, and he's incredibly bullish about crypto. Aren't we all? Let's go, yeah. Let's watch. We can watch that one again. Gary trying to take on the new government. And he goes... Get out of here! Absolutely love it. Let's see what else here. There's a couple. No, resigning. Okay, yeah. Yeah, as you can see, we all feel this way. A gentle reminder to Gary Gensler. Good morning. Gary Gensler running away. And this is my favorite one. This is how we feel. As much as we're giving him hate, it's the people behind him.
Yeah, right.
And this one, everyone remember this one? Oh, you gotta oh, shoot. Have you seen this one? This was funny.
You can suck my little balls.
Gary Gensler here has fucked all of you over.
Listen, I just do what they tell me, the big banks.
He's attacking NFTs and all digital art. That's why I'm supporting the Unfuck petition to stop Gary's assault on NFT art.
I swear I'll change. I'll stop doing what the big banks tell me. I'm done being a dickhead. I'm done being a dickhead. I'm done being a dickhead. How did you get so many people to report me to the SEC hotline? And then you got people involved to make art from people's complaints. It's honestly amazing.
It's time for you to change, Gary. Stop thinking with money first. You think with your heart.
I gotta get real. Because at the end of the day, my crypto is your crypto. And your crypto is my crypto.
No. My crypto's my crypto.
Yeah, right.
And I think there was one year. Hold on, Gary Gensler. What was it like the day Gary Gensler left the SEC? McMahon crying. It was like, I just have no words. I have no words. Cleaning out the trash. Oh, what? One more.
Doesn't have any issues.
Watch it.
Hi, I'm Gary Gensler, and I'm the reason our economy doesn't have any issues. Oh, Coinbase and Binance want to run a crypto exchange in my country. Unregistered security.
What about Nancy Pelosi making over $100 million insider trading?
I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything. Well, the definition is you're selling unregistered security.
What does it mean?
It means I'm suing you. Oh, look, it's Sammy. He was actually a student at MIT where I was a professor. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. He was a walking unregistered security. Nance, I wish you guys hired me in 2019 when I applied. We could have been together. I've never made a woman come.
Yo, what you doing, Gary?
Oh, I just opened up a $2.5 million short on Bitcoin before I sue Coinbase and Binance.
Okay, Slime.
Wait a second. Why is the price going up? Unregistered security.
That's exactly. And we can go on. So all you guys do, type in Gary Gensler and have an absolute chuckle. And it's going crazy. And rightfully so. It's our time. All right, guys. So what's the big news about crypto investors? Why are we so happy about this? Because... yeah, we it's the perfect storm, right? So generally, Bitcoin halving happens. It's supposed to go up naturally, okay, cool. And then it comes down in a bear market and we wait another 4 years. That traditionally happens. Then we had a president that's pro-crypto and just won, all right? And what happens there? Now it's an external factor on top of it, right, which now elevates everything. Everything's excited. And of course, we had the ETF, which now you got Bitcoin. I think they filed for Solana and they filed for Ethereum, which Ethereum will happen soon, which means now pension money and big money can flow into crypto with ease under regulation. So that's just a tiny bit of the spectrum. And of course, having the right people making the rules so that companies can create innovation is where now the landscape is being mowed and lawned so that you can now build the way you want to within the framework.
Plus, we could finally see an end to the legal overhang out here. A lot of projects are tied up in court cases right now, and if those cases are resolved or hopefully just dropped entirely, that's an absolutely huge weight lifted off the entire industry.
Especially the big XRP, if they make the lawsuit go away or they come to some sort of settlement, it means probably good things for their potential investors. So who knows? But they got to sort their legal stuff out as per usual. But yeah, it just could mean good things for them. Or they could lose and the investors could lose everything. It's crypto.
Yeah, exactly. It's like lifting a cloud off of the entire market. And it could also mean companies won't be rushing offshore anymore. And that might actually, they might actually want to build in the US here where there's a massive market just waiting for that crypto regulatory crap to be lifted so that crypto can flourish here in the US.
Yeah. Think about the oil rush, think about the gold rush, think about the diamond rush. Now it's the crypto rush, and people are flocking to a space where they can innovate. They're going to require tools, they're going to require skills, they're going to require infrastructure so they can build. So just use the analogy of, any one of those empires that were great once upon a time, and now apply that to crypto. And you can be in that space, providing the tools, providing the education, helping find, you add to your part. We are so early, but the most important thing, Gary out, crypto in, and yeah, we can only just be so happy about this. It's the perfect storm.
Absolutely. All right, though, folks, that's our show for the day. Hopefully we've, given you a little bit of insight into why Gary Gensler has been a polarizing figure and why the future looks so much brighter with him finally being ousted here.
And Ryan, before I leave you, don't forget, we have to do a dad joke.
Okay.
So before we wrap up there, I'm not going to leave you off the hook there. I will give going so you can think of your one.
All right, sure.
So this time of the show, we're doing dad's jokes. And here we go. So Ryan, a bear walked into a bar and he said, "Hey, bartender, give me some of your finest whiskey and some Coke." And the bartender says, "Why the long pause?" A bear pause.
Yeah, I got it.
I got it. Oh, shit.
Well, let me see if I could do any better here.
Okay.
You know, I've been thinking about it. It's really important to have good vocabulary. You know, if I had known the difference between the words antidote and anecdote, one of my best friends would still be alive.
That's very dark.
Hey, true story. No.
Did you talk him to death? Be honest. Oh, sheesh. All right, guys, that concludes our show for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification to get the latest feeds and stuff that comes from us.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, don't forget, we really want to know what you guys think. So, do you agree? Do you think it's going to be fantastic that Gensler's on his way out? I know I do. So, do you think Hester Peirce is going to make a great SEC chair? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's have a little conversation about it, or come over to our Telegram chat and we'll do it there.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks.
The material and information presented in this recording are for entertainment purposes only. Do not misconstrue what you hear as investment or trading advice. Always do your own research. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the guests on this recording are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Dad's Gone Crypto or its hosts.